Open Stage would like to acknowledge the Susquehannock peoples, upon whose unceded land we produce this show. Open Stage commits to the work of dismantling the ongoing legacies of settler colonialism and the exclusions and erasures of many Indigenous peoples that continue today. At Open Stage, we also believe that Black Lives Matter, and you should too. That belief starts with acknowledging plainly how the systems we depend on often operate as if they don't. We at Open Stage proudly stand united with Black people and communities of color during this movement of unrest and uprising. This show is brought to you by Open Stage, a professional theater company. Check out Open Stage's complete list of shows, all of which are offered completely free this season at openstagehbg.com. Thank you and enjoy the show. Hello, and welcome to the Obstructed View. I'm Stuart Landon, producing artistic director at Open Stage in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, coming to you live from Harrisburg, from Open Stage, with my fantastic co-hosts, Matthew Golden.
Hi.
Hey. And America's sweetheart, TJ Creedon.
Good morning.
Oh my gosh, you both are just looking very fancy right now with your front bags going on.
So with our front bags, which is how we will definitely wear them in the real world when we actually.
Is this how we wear them?
In the back, like a normal person.
Oh my gosh. So I know we talked about this last week, but I think we talked about it last week, but so tell those who may not know, what in the world, what are you wearing? Who are you wearing?
Well, we're wearing a Tyler Wallach original, who is our very special guest this evening. We'll be here to talk all about all of his art, including his wearable art pieces, like this very fancy bag that I have, and that very fancy bag that Matthew has.
Oh my gosh.
Which are sold out. Sorry, we got the last ones.
Yeah, well.
I know, the last two.
There'll be other bags, and Tyler will talk more about all of his bags. Anyway, so what are we drinking tonight, TJ?
Well, in honor of the biggest story in the entire world this week, we have the Meghan Sparkle. Because Meghan Markle, do you get it? So we were talking about what we were going to talk about this week, and I was like, so did anybody watch the Oprah interview? And all of us were like, no, we didn't.
Oh.
Bree, the fantastic producer Bree, who will be making an appearance any minute now, was like, yeah, I watched it, and I watched two other things about it, and so we decided to not let her talk about anything, and we were going to talk about other stuff. So here's the Meghan Sparkle.
The Meghan Sparkle.
In honor of not in honor of the royal family, but
in honor of Meghan. Meghan, we can say in honor of her.
In honor of Meghan Markle, the Meghan Sparkle.
That's right.
Oh, exactly. And it's just a vodka soda, by the way.
all different flavors, though.
It's flavory. It's you'll get the inside scoop if you follow us on Instagram and follow Open Stage on Instagram, and you'll be able to see the pre-show antics, which we definitely are always on time for. So I think it was about 5 minutes ago that we were pouring these drinks. But at any rate, so you mentioned her, and if you say her name 3 times, then she'll appear. There you go. Here she comes.
She's here.
Looking like an absolute goddess, as per usual.
Seriously. Look, and you have a wall. You have a brick wall.
I know.
Oh,
I'm one
that's
of
different.
Yep.
I'm not pink anymore.
Mm-mm.
Nope.
I mean, you are pink, but like,
Well,
you're,
Right.
yeah.
you are very pastel-y, though. You're very spring.
I know. I felt the weather. I was feeling the weather today.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Me too.
oh,
my
brother.
gosh.
Bare legs.
No pants. Nothing on
No,
underneath.
absolutely no pants. No pants. This is a no pants zone here.
Oh my gosh. No pants. Oh my god. Did you bring your kitties with you today?
I did. There's Tim hanging out.
Oh.
Just in the perch.
Good morning, Timothy.
This week, they want to continue. They want to continue the support for the LGBT Center of Central PA because they do enough programming that we could talk about them literally every week and still keep talking. I don't know. But anyway, if you would like to keep in touch with what the LGBT Center is doing, please check out their Facebook page, which is facebook.com/LGBT Center Central PA. You see it there. But check out their what they're offering. They still have the Arts of PA right now, so you can get as little as $5. You can get a button, and you can also just go to their website or Facebook and make a donation. So support the important work they're doing for our community.
Nice. That's fantastic. Yes, please support the LGBT Center of Central Pennsylvania. Thank you so much, my darling felines, for telling us about this organization, reminding us about this organization every week. I think this is great. Honestly, I think it's great to stick with that organization. I absolutely adore it. So, and send some money too. I mean, it's always good to send money. So please make a donation to the LGBT Center today. Speaking of making donations, I would like to thank some folks today. I'd like to thank the producer, artist, and sponsor levels of the Inner Circle. What's the Inner Circle, you ask? Well, I'll tell you. It is a group of fantastic art supporters that have helped bring us through these dark days here at Open Stage. There's no dark days at Open Stage. This is the dark days outside of Open Stage. It's always bright inside here because Bree's here. But the those fantastic members of the Inner Circle, a monthly giving program at Open Stage, those members are Miles Babin, Christopher Baldridge, and David Skirpon, Bill and Sharia Ben, Michael Ciappelloni, Jeff and Caitlin Kopis, Desiree DeSoto, Harold and Maureen Dunbar, the Freeman family, Matthew Golden, I know him, Mary Lou and Raymond Harris, Nicholas Hughes, Robert and Joyce Cantor, Dr. Craig Keel and Renee Cluck Keel, Wayne and Gloria Landon, Bill and Beverly Lair, Howard Pullman, Karen Rook, Craig Sager, Brad and Colleen Sanders, Kristen Schofield, and John and Abby Tierney. If you would like to add your name to this illustrious list of beautiful humans who support the arts, support Open Stage, please join the Inner Circle at openstagehbg.com, and you can see all the wonderful benefits you get from joining the Inner Circle there. But also, you'll be helping us present a season that is completely free of charge or on a sliding scale, and you're able to support those folks that perhaps can't make a donation today or tomorrow, so they can enjoy the magic of theater or whatever this is. So,
it's not theater.
This is something.
Hey, but we're having a good time, and I'm so glad I have to say that I have you fantastic dope next to me every week. I just think that I'm having a great time, and I can't wait for today's show. This guest is just killer. I've known Tyler for a long time, so it's nice to have him on the show. So thank you so much, Bree, and we'll talk to you later. And I think that we're going to move on and bring on our next guest. I'm just making sure I'm doing everything correctly by looking at my script. This is the fantastic Tyler. Tyler Wallach is an innovative and independent queer artist living in Harlem. Actually, he's living back in Brooklyn now. Recognized for his bright and boldly colored street art characters on both canvas and clothing, referred to as the 1988 love child of Keith Haring and Lisa Frank, Tyler, a native Texan, hails from New York City with 10 plus years of experience painting and independently producing large-scale solo art shows, live painting events, multifaceted clothing lines, and brand integrated murals across the globe. Compassion and care for the LGBTQ community is a driving force of inspiration and has led Tyler to produce many multiple large-scale paintings a year that are donated and auctioned off by national LGBTQ charities, with 100% of proceeds going towards at-risk queer youth and anti-bullying efforts. Welcome to the show, the fantastic Tyler Wallach. There he is.
Oh, there he is.
Hey there, how are you? I love a classic round of applause. That's good.
Yep. We love a pun here on this
Pee-wee's
show.
Playhouse. Oh, this is okay.
Yes. So, Tyler, thank you so much for being on the show. And
Thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh. Honestly, we met approximately 100 years ago doing community theater, right?
Down in Houston.
Down in Houston, Texas. And holy moly. And it's you've come, how far we've come from the days of us doing some of those shows. Looking back at them, there was some wonderful ones. I wish that.
Well, Stuart Landon was the youngest director to grace the stage of Playhouse 1960 with his directing skills. It made the local papers, have you? It did. It did. It very well did. It was amazing.
Wow.
It was The Hobbit, and he made us wear beards. He made like 10-year-olds wear beards. Full Broadway spirit gum.
Oh yeah.
He had rashes, face, there was situations. Hey, if it ain't Broadway, it's Stuart.
Honestly,
No part of that surprises me. The commitment from Stuart is always 100%.
Yeah,
I love
it's
it.
a lot.
Just a team of seamstresses sewing capes for 9-year-olds to pretend that they're 80-year-old men. It was incredible. It was amazing.
It was. I think it's a great memory for me. I mean, honestly, I could go on, but the first show that I ever did, one of the first shows I ever did, was with 10-year-old Stuart doing The Hobbit the musical, and then not even a decade later, being able to share that with probably 10-year-old Tyler at the time. And
a new batch, absolutely.
A new batch, exactly. And then I actually have directed it since. So because life keeps going in circles, and there's no original ideas. So,
and those have been the 3 ever productions of The Hobbit the musical. maybe.
Honestly,
good.
I probably do have footage. I should have gotten footage. I didn't even think about that. And your starring role as one of the 13 mighty dwarves. What dwarf were you? Do you remember?
Nori.
Nori.
I know.
Wow.
Yeah, he was a lowly friend of the group.
The Bilbos, yes. Really,
really a departure from the source material.
How's your Megan Sparkle? I should have. I did a shot of tequila, so.
That's good.
I don't know.
Yeah, honestly, that's a lot more creative than the Megan Sparkle.
Yeah.
Hey, it's vanilla vodka, everyone. Which doesn't make it
only
any
because
less
we ran out of regular vodka.
Yeah,
we're slowly running out of alcohol at the bar here, so we're gonna have some creative drinks in the coming weeks.
Oh, I see.
We're scraping the bottom of the barrel.
We are, in fact, yes. So we're going to get creative with drinks over the next few weeks. So speaking of creativity, Mr. Wallach, tell me, how did you go from theater kid to artist?
Yeah.
And seriously, tell us your story.
Well, I always found myself as a problem child, talking in class too much. Can only pay attention as much as I know, right? I can only pay attention as much as the friends that he's put around. So I found myself in a theater atmosphere, and that's where I met you, doing community theater and, auditioning my way up the ranks. And I found myself in a college theater program that was extremely demanding, a little bit militant, maybe. They're really trying to make you the best little actor, singer, dancer they can, so they can throw you out in a pool of auditions in New York City, and then you can sort of prosper. It's very frustrating, as I don't really find myself much of a dancer. I'll be honest, the dance calls are problematic, okay?
You're more of a mover.
You either have it or you don't, So, oh, she's moving all over the place. I can move, Sadie. I can move. Yeah. I'm a strong mover. Strong hand jiver, like with my eyes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, lots of strengths and lots of weaknesses. So I was like flailing about in auditions and sort of frustrated, even my senior year of college, getting ready to, graduate with a degree in musical theater. So I took a screen printing class from the art department. It was the only art class you could take without any prerequisites of like drawing one or, whatever basic classes they may have you take. And we were given an assignment to create a theme to sort of draw ourselves. And as an actor, I saw myself as a cloud. And it's a little like, it makes sense, but it's also quite cheesy because I see myself as someone who I would say could cry at any moment as a cloud may rain. Or there may be sun from the cloud, emoting happiness. And also, get this, the cloud moves. And my career goal at the time was to book a national tour so I could travel and do theater. Oh, it was all I wanted in the world. And
all the boxes.
Then you talk to someone who booked, who booked a tour, and they're like, "Sweetie, you never get to see the town that you're in. You're too busy in your hotel. Listen up, darling." Yeah, and I was like, "Oh my God, no, that's true. It's true. Yeah, that's true." Yeah, especially non-equity. You're not going to get out of the bus. They're not going to let you off the bus.
They push you out of the bus.
Not a bus and truck.
They pull you right back in. That's it.
Yeah. For those in the industry, you learn real quick to scatter away from the little non-equity opportunities, as many of them as there are. But they're fabulous.
Yeah. And Tyler,
so I'm like moving my way around doing theater, and I'm also beginning to create this art that's based around me being this actor or whatever, as I'm frustrated with being an actor. So I start drawing these designs that I have of these cloud characters all over stickers. That's specifically the "Hello, my name is" stickers. And I start putting them all around the theater department. I put them around stop signs on the college campus, and I put them in the music building because I'm there for classes for voice. I put them in the dance building, and I put them in the art building. So Instagram had like just started maybe this year or a year before. We're obviously still like using a digital camera to take photos and then upload them to Facebook. So I don't think we didn't have cell phones quite yet. I don't think so quite yet. Or maybe if you did, it was that first iPhone, that big, silver, and you had AT&T because it was exclusive, and I was Verizon, and I was jealous as hell for many years. But then we finally got our iPhone. I had AT&T Envy, and obviously I still have issues with it, which I'll deal with at some point. But so people started posting pictures of the stickers, and it kind of became like a little thing. And I was like, oh, this is kind of interesting. So I keep pushing it, and I keep doing it, and I keep creating stickers. So fast forward to New York City, I moved here, and I'm auditioning, and I'm still doing the stickers. So I'm putting up stickers in the West Village, in Soho, in Chinatown, in all of these different places. And these two guys from LA come, who are putting up a show called The History of Queer Street Art. And the stickers I was doing were, not too far off from what I'm doing here. You might go ahead and assume it's something queer, something gay. Now, some of the other work that I've done was very like suggestive, and that, there's like nudity on them or different types of, expressions of queer art, which made them inherently very queer and obviously gay. And as they're doing this art show, the history of queer street art, they approach me in a manner of like, let us know how much your pieces run and how long you've been doing this sticker art, and how much it would cost to fly you out to participate and have like these pieces of shows and stuff. So it had only been something that I had done for fun and never something that I thought I would pursue as I was dead set on being an actor. But it was just something that I had to decide that I would try or wanted to do. And it's really, really a painful, interesting thing to like convince your parents to pay for like theater school so you can move to New York City. And then you're like, now I want to doodle on like, do these like drawings. Like it's a whole like this like thing. And my mom is like, what the hell are you doing now? And I was like, I think like I am making money doing this and I'm not trying. So I'm going to just like roll with it. And I'm still rolling today. Here I am on the obstructed view with a mixed particle.
So how did you build that into the wearable art like this and the fashion you're doing now?
Yeah, so I was doing different types of art in New York City when I started. I adopted a form of live painting. I wanted to make sure to get the art in front of as many eyes as I could. So there was a little bar near where I was living in Williamsburg at the time called Metropolitan, and they had this party on Monday nights called Hot Fruit. And what hotter a fruit than I to appear at the party, darling? So I would go, and there was a skee ball machine in the back of the bar that they would put a tarp over. Yes, skee ball. I know, right?
Not a tarp.
A tarp. You got to bring out a tarp when I come in the room. That's for a different show. Anyway,
I've heard that. Yes.
Yes. So different types of art. I do like canvases this big. I would bring my markers and just sort of paint as a way to sort of get the art in front of as many people as I could. And I had I'd seen the movie Party Monster before moving to New York City, and the whole idea of, adopting a persona and enjoying it in a club atmosphere, or just even like queer type of bar or space, just like any drag queen may be able to enjoy to like the nth degree of completely really changing who you are. But to some degree, a lot of people in New York City can put on that persona and be a little extra maybe. And so I was interested in like meeting those people and seeing what they were doing. And live painting there led to a couple of corporations, like the LGBT Center in Miami. The Miami-Dade Business and Foundation down there brought me in, and I did the live painting between two bars they had to raise money for a gala that they were doing. And that's like one of the very first things that I did. And someone actually thought of it for me. They were like, I work in ways of like helping artists leverage what they do into like a really marketable way. And I see what you're doing here and you're having a lot of fun, but I think there's like a way that like you could be presenting yourself, in a different way. And then that actually led to a wonderful time with you, Stuart. I came to Pennsylvania and did an art show at the LGBT Center there. So yes, donate to the LGBT centers, please. I had a wonderful time there. And I actually got to do a painting live there as well. And I know we were chatting earlier before I came on, but I still keep in touch with him and the gentleman who won the painting. And I've since, I've done lots of more live paintings and donated lots and lots of paintings to LGBTQ charities here in New York City, mainly the Trevor Project and the Tyler Clementi Foundation. So those get sent out to silent auctions. And which now are digital, but we'll be silent auctioning each other IRL very soon, hopefully.
Yes, we will. Yes.
But yeah, so I've gotten like high-res images taken of the paintings and turned them into textiles for different fabrics, like the bags that you guys have. And so like this started out as a drawing, and then this was a piece of a painting like 4 years later. And so you can just sort of like have it formatted, and it's got the hood going on back here as well. Yeah. And it's like a men's baseball shirt and a little kimono action. Well, we've all been enjoying wearing less at home. So, and then I know we were talking earlier. It's the Siwa. It's the Siwa jacket. It's the JoJo.
Okay, everybody. So, in case you don't follow Ty on Instagram, you absolutely should. But then the other thing is that when I saw that JoJo Siwa was wearing this jacket, it just blew my mind.
Friend of the show, JoJo Siwa.
Friend of the show, JoJo Siwa. Our favorite Gen Z.
Honestly, I'm just... I'm just happy to be on the Obstructed View. If JoJo's been on so many times, I'm jealous. I'm ready to be a guest. I said, book me, Stuart. I know you so long ago. Damn it.
Yes, I didn't make you wear a beard for the 13th mighty dwarf, or the 9th mighty dwarf, or whatever you were. Oh my gosh. Real quick, before we head to commercial, I wanted you to tell the story about when you called your dad about the opportunity from the gents that were doing the queer show. What did Cooper say?
Absolutely. Well, yeah, my father, Cooper. Well, I put a lot of pressure on myself to pursue theater when I had moved here to New York City. So I started working regionally doing a very dumb, fun musical called The Drowsy Chaperone. And I was doing it at a regional theater in Austin, Texas called Zachary Scott Theater, which is such a really wonderful theater to work with. I had done the show for like 6 months. And I had a lot of fun. And I had just moved to New York City. And I'm following like everything I'm supposed to do. I made friends with the guy at the deli. I made friends with the person who does the newspapers, because my theater teacher said, you got to create community as soon as you move to New York City, or you're going to completely get lost in the fold. And like, if you can make a friend just because you buy a sandwich from him every day or a newspaper, like, trust me, it'll make your day. So I go and I'm buying like Backstage magazines and things like that. And,
back when it was in print.
It's like one of these kismet things. Oh, can you hear me? Am I there? Okay, good.
I think.
So I'm going by to get a Backstage magazine this day, and I don't have money. He gives it to me anyway, so I'm thinking that I'm going to have like this really wonderful special type of day or something. And then later that day is when I get contacted from these the gentlemen that were in Los Angeles doing this art show, and they contacted me with this email. And I had, when I moved to New York City, I'm working off Broadway I'm doing the same musical again. I auditioned for The Drowsy Chaperone again. It's my very first audition. There's a bunch of people that were doing it on Broadway. They wanted to produce it off Broadway at a theater in Brooklyn. I auditioned and I booked it, and it was my very first audition in New York City. And I was like, God damn! Like, if this, and I musical, and I'm like, that I moved to this city, and that's sort of like what led to the draw for the art. And I call my dad because these gentlemen from Los Angeles contact me, and I tell them, I'm like, I'm in the middle of my dreams. I'm in the middle of my dreams coming true, and I just got this opportunity from these guys in LA that they think I'm an artist. They think that I'm gonna like do these paintings. They think it's like, they're asking me, I've never even been to LA. I don't even think I've seen a mountain yet at this point. Like, Texas people are real conservative when it comes to seeing.
It's very flat.
It is. I went to San Antonio and saw a hill, and I thought it was a mountain. And my dad was like, oh, God, like, we really need to take you out, When you don't see snow until you're 13 because you live in Houston, it's like, it's bizarre. So I call him, and I'm like, they think that I'm, like, some artist. And he's like, no, Tyler. listen, like, you've always done the things that you wanted to do to pursue your happiness, and something tells me that you have a feeling about this and that, like, it's making you a little nervous, but it's like you need to own it and you need to accept that you are the artist, and that you tell them how much money you want and say that it's going to be this much money and you can fly me out on this day. Like, they want something from you now. And whatever it is, it worked. So you just need to sort of like make the decision. And that's when I mean, it's a really significant moment in my life, because I was just like looking for permission. Like, I never even, I felt also it was like a betrayal to my love of theater, but it worked out. I hope you.
I think that we are, Ty, I think we're losing you, so we're going to bring you back later. We're going to finish this question. And with that, I'd like to boot us over to commercials.
Oh, sup, humanoids? Sup, humanoids? Sup, humanoids? It's E-Man. I'm just like you. I'm just like you. I'm just like you. Oh! Eh? Eh? Just go out there and live your damn life! Woo! Just live your damn life! It's fine, just go out there and live your damn life!
Hello?
Demon, you're dead.
Been downtown, the people are rising. We thought it was a lockdown. They opened the fire, them bullets was flying. Who said it was a lockdown? Goddamn lie.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Obstructed View. I'm Stuart Landon. That's TJ Creedon, and that's Matthew Golden. And we're here to talk about the news of the gay. We'll hear a little bit more from Tyler Wallach later on in the show. But for now, we're actually going to move on to the heart of the show, to our core incompetency, a little thing we like to call Give Me Headlines. Something to talk about. The Hollywood Reporter reported that Pepe Le Pew not featured in any current Warner Brothers television products, and there are no current plans for the controversial cartoon Skunk to return. The Hollywood Reporter has learned all of this. The news comes one day after it was reported that Pepe Le Pew was scrubbed from the upcoming Space Jam 2, and while all that news falls days after a New York Times opinion piece in which the character was said to have normalized rape culture. The decision to both scrub him from the film and not have him return for TV projects was made more than a year ago. The Times piece ran in wake of Dr. Seuss Enterprises announcing that it would stop publishing 6 books because of racist and insensitive imagery. Wow. No one actually asked anybody if Space Jam 2 was even a necessity at all. That's really unfortunate. All right. So, Matt, what do you think about this one?
Yeah, it was also in conjunction with Speedy Gonzalez potentially being canceled, and they're kind of lumping them together, but I think it's talking about two different things, two different ideas about these characters. Pepe Le Pew, I think, is a lot of posturing from the studio to like seem like they're in tune to what people want. They filmed a whole scene in the film about consent with Pepe Le Pew and an actress from Jane the Virgin. And this late in the game, they've decided to cancel it, which the actress who appears in that scene with him is speaking out against, because it's taking away a teaching moment that for a movie that I assume a lot of people will see. I don't know the demand for Space Jam 2 in 2021. But it did teach about consent in that scene. It's also taking money away from a performer. She won't get streaming payments for this. She won't get syndication payments for that. Yeah, so it's very curious. They don't talk about that at all. They just talk about how this is bad, that we shouldn't show Pepe Le Pew, instead of kind of changing it in a 2021 light or teaching about consent. So, you know, you can teach a lesson, but if you're costing a performer, specifically a performer of color, money, I think you're kind of making the situation worse. That's my take on that, on him specifically. TJ can talk about that, and then I want to talk about Speedy, because I think that's a different thing.
We'll talk about Speedy. All right. TJ, what do you think about Pepe Le Pew?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting that they decided to, like, I mean, they wrote a whole scene with him in it. I mean, like,
filmed a whole scene, kind of, like, it's just
and yeah, wrote, filmed, did the whole shebang. I think it definitely speaks to things that that are like definitely innocuous in nature. Like, there's not things can be made without ill will and still kind of carry out these, like, let's say, malicious ideas. And malicious is maybe a strong word specifically for this scenario, but like, I mean, it speaks to the larger idea that when men are pursuing women, when a woman says no, that's not always what she means, or like, a no doesn't actually mean no. And like I said, it's like, it's innocuous, like it's a cartoon, but it also is like, it's so innocuous that we sit kids in front of it and say, like, look at this, and then we wonder how, you know, how this, like, this, you know, I mean, culture that's surrounding the idea of, like, sexual harassment specifically.
Sure.
We're surprised that it's so ingrained in our society, but then if we turn around and look at the stuff that we watched as kids, it's like that's in there, and it's been fed to us over and over and over again. So I think it's interesting that, like, now we're kind of looking at it in a 2021 lens, and it's also like, if they wouldn't have made a big deal about it, no one would have noticed that Pepe Le Pew was not in Space Jam 2.
Right. Yeah. And frankly, I just hope that no one notices Space Jam 2. But that's my own. So I completely agree, and I'm of the mindset. We were talking about it earlier, and it was. I thought to myself, I said out loud to the group, I was like, I watched a lot of Looney Tunes growing up. I watched a lot of Pepe Le Pew. And and my memory is I don't remember ever having a moment, of course, as a child, realizing that this was problematic. But it's not their responsibility to know that it's problematic, and that this casual rape culture that is presented by the cartoon is harmful. What I will say is that I kind of wish that there was a way, and maybe they still will do this. This is big dreaming and probably highly complex for a Looney Tunes character. But the idea of is there a way to evolve that character or reclaim it so that it is reimagined as somebody who, as a character that is pro women and pro consent and and maybe in a comedic way. But the idea of is there a way to reclaim that? And I think I think maybe that's the lost opportunity, that instead of, I have made clear on this show over and over again that I am not a fan of cancel culture. And I am, but I am a fan of us being better humans. And I think that we can build better little humans by not showing them something like this over and over and over again and normalizing it. That being said, I think that I will definitely want to go back and watch some of these, because I want to know. I want to know how problematic this is. Because also, is it possible that we are also sometimes, this is what I talked about last week, letting parents off the hook, where it's just we can understand that this is funny in this situation because they are cartoons. In a real life situation, this would not be funny. And it is not okay for you. So I don't know if that's even possible or if that's unfair to ask of parents. I'm not a parent. But it's just something to me that it's, at the very least, the idea of reimagining and reclaiming Pepe Le Pew, which is a stupid ass sentence that I can't believe I just said, is a potential opportunity for Warner Brothers. Matt, you wanted to talk a little bit about Speedy Gonzalez.
I do, and I also think the scene they deleted was the start of a rebranding of the character. And if they're cutting that out, then how can you ever rebrand?
It also sounds to me like the scene that they filmed was probably stupid and did not work, and it probably was not funny. It probably would just fell flat, and they cut it out because it sucked. And then they were like, "Oh yeah, we cut it out because it's not good." But it's to be fair, you wrote and filmed the whole thing.
When I was watching my morning cartoons, if Pepe Le Pew came on, I usually would go take a pee break. I would usually go get another bowl of cereal. Pepe Le Pew is not brilliant writing, to be fair. But I don't know. There are some Looney Tunes that do Looney Tunes characters that have some brilliant writing behind them. Anyway, Matt, you were going to talk about Speedy Gonzalez.
So they're kind of looping or bringing Speedy Gonzalez into this conversation too, as someone who could potentially be canceled, and that he creates harmful stereotypes of his Latinx people, specifically Mexican people. And there's been a big pushback from the Latinx community to kind of leave Speedy alone. It kind of reads a lot of white people telling people of color how they should feel about something, which should never be the case. I just want to share this quote from a professor, Frederick Aldama, who's a professor who specializes in Latinx studies. He said, but does that mean we should obliterate him? No, what it means is that we should educate and open discussions so that our kids can understand how stereotypes have existed, and how they continue to exist, so they can become a critically informed consumer. If we erase the past, how can we learn from the past and make a better future? We should educate, not obliterate. So I think that's an important thing. I also think when there are people of color who are voicing this character and they're speaking out that this is a positive character, this is a character that we should continue to have in our discourse. I never thought I'd talk about Looney Tunes this much at 34, but they have points. I mean, a lot of people, I've just reading a lot of Twitter today. He was intelligent, witty, the fastest of them all, and would always outsmart his rivals. So if brown people, if people of color are saying this is a character that we like and this is a character that does represent us, it just bothers me that mostly woke white people are trying to tell them how they should feel, or that, it just, I think it's overcorrecting and not listening to the people who really should have the opinion on it.
What an interesting thing, the idea of overcorrection, right? And I think that we don't get to make those decisions as white people. And you're right. I think that it's sometimes more harmful to give space to those folks that are ready to cancel things left and right. My goodness. Okay, so we're going to move on to our next story, which is weirdly not gay. But here we go.
No gay this week.
No gay
No
this
gay
week.
stuff.
We have a lot of gay on this show this
We're
week.
anti-gay. We're homophobic this week.
Okay. Don't expect to see The Weeknd's name in the Grammy Awards nominations lists anytime soon. Just days before the Grammys are set to take place, the New York Times revealed that The Weeknd will boycott the award show moving forward after his album After Hours and hit single Blinding Lights were snubbed by nominations. After backlash by the likes of Drake and Frank Ocean, the Academy has made efforts to diversify its membership and even hired a diversity officer and brought more women and people of color into its leadership, according to the Times. The Weeknd's new statement comes months after he accused the Recording Academy of corruption when his music was completely left off of the 2021 nominations. After the list of nominees were revealed, The Weeknd broke his silence to criticize the awards show, saying, "The Grammys remain corrupt. You owe me, my fans, and the industry transparency." TJ, what do you think about The Weeknd?
It's really interesting because it, like, on paper, it is very strange that The Weeknd's album and song, which were like very major, like critically and commercially successful songs over the last year, were like completely left off of the Grammys list, the Grammys nominations. So many things get nominated for Grammys every year. There are like, I swear to God, there were 2 million Grammy nominees every single year. Literally everyone has a Grammy. Everyone has name a famous person, they have a Grammy, except Katy Perry. Katy Perry doesn't have one. But like everyone has a Grammy. No, not one.
Anyway, sorry.
Like Michelle Obama has a Grammy. Literally every famous person has a Grammy. It's crazy. So it's very weird that like one of the most, again, like critically and commercially successful albums and songs were like fully left out of the nominations. It's like on paper it is odd, and I think it opens up a conversation just like we had, not we, but like we as a society had a few years ago and continue to have, about like the Oscars and how overwhelmingly white the nominees are every single year. And yeah, it's really interesting. It also brought to mind, I mean, like, of course, me being the gay that I am, it brought immediately to mind Julie Andrews and the Tonys in the 90s, because she was nominated for Victor Victoria, and I guess the show did not get enough nominations.
Exactly. It wasn't nominated for Best Musical.
Right. So she refused her nomination and turned it down. And I think it like there are kind of two sides to the coin, where Julie Andrews, obviously, to the Broadway community, and The Weeknd to the music industry. They're huge stars. And at the end of the day, the Tonys and the Grammys are television programs that run off of ratings. So like that, one of the biggest music stars in the world is saying, I will not participate in the Grammys. I will not perform on the Grammys. I will not be associated with the Grammys. It's like, that's a big deal for the Grammys as a show and like the Grammys as an institution. And I mean, the other side of that coin is, he of course could have made this proclamation or this stand. He could have taken this stand silently, but it wouldn't have made the same impact for, I mean, him. There is certainly benefit for him making noise about this and like causing press around him, which is probably at this point a bigger wave than what would have happened even if he would have won album of the year. But there's also like, if he would have done it silently, he doesn't get the opportunity to call out the kind of systemic problems that there are within the Grammy nominators and voting bodies.
Yeah. So while we're all waiting with bated breath for a mashup with The Weeknd and Julie Andrews, I seriously, I can't wait. Matt, what did you think about this story?
All right, I have a lot of thoughts on this. As we learned tonight, 12,000 people are eligible to vote for the Grammys. That's not a negligible amount. It's not like the Golden Globes where it's less than 100 people. Right. That being said, they don't have any loyalty necessarily to anyone to vote. I'm sure the votes can be bought. I'm sure they can be courted to vote a certain way. I'm sure they can just choose not to vote at all. So I understand what TJ's saying and what The Weeknd's saying, in that, like, he had a huge album, it was well reviewed. None of those people are voting for these things. So that it's two separate streams here of what we're talking about with the album and with his stuff, because the people who are buying the album are not the people voting on the Grammys. That being said, I do think that these award shows as a whole have outlived their usefulness for some time now, because it stopped being about the art a long, long time ago. It's not about the art. It's about television ratings. It's about politicking, meaning campaigning for a win. It's about buying votes. It's about being visible to get these awards and have your team behind you to get an award. If it was about the art, all of the nominees would be televised. It wouldn't just be the quote unquote important people. 70% of the Grammys award recipients aren't even shown on TV. So they're not about million. Yeah, there are 34 categories. So, like, what, I don't even know what that math is, but say like 12 of them make the air. So what about the other 22 people who won? These award shows are not about the art. We need to break them down and restructure them if we really want to honor the art, because if it was about that, then the person who wins the best editing Oscar would be on the front page of the paper with the best actress Oscar winner. So I don't care about award shows. They hold no interest for me. But I support The Weeknd in saying that, you know, he's saying they need to be changed. We need transparency. I don't think transparency equals corruption. It can, but it's people don't have any loyalty in this. They can be courted to vote for who they want to vote for.
Yeah, I agree with you, Matt, that I think the idea of it being corrupt is perhaps a little extreme, and I think also crafted by The Weeknd or his people to make it seem a little more dramatic than it is, because it's because 12,000 people theoretically were involved in some way or another to get him nominated or not. But and a real quick point about award shows. I completely agree about award shows. Although, I mean, I'm in love with them. So I'm kind of like, I believe that they are broken, but I fucking love them. And because I think that at the heart, there's some nerd that is part of the leadership team that is keeping it on track. I have to believe that. I'm not sure I understand the Grammys, or maybe don't care enough about the Grammys to, or there's lots of award shows I don't care about, but specifically also talk about the Oscars or about the Tonys, is that I think that there's enough people that do love the art form that maybe are fighting that battle. But I would not care, and I would love it actually if it was all broken down to its brass tacks again, all of them. And said, we're just going to talk about the art. We're going to make this a piece about education. We're going to make this an opportunity that's on a Sunday night where we can bring people together in front of their televisions to talk about music, to talk about movies, to talk about theater, and make it a moment of education. And I think, honestly, that would be brilliant. The Tonys is just an advertisement for Broadway. It's a big commercial. It's a 3-hour commercial for Broadway, which, honestly, I'm absolutely fucking in love with. When it's well produced, I totally get off on that. And I love the Oscars. I love movies. So it's the same thing. We're going to have an event at Midtown Cinema and in a month and a half, virtual event because we all want to watch it together, because I can't stop watching these shows. But so I hope there is a nerd back there making that, helping keep the heart pumping. But I think you're probably right, Matt, that and the weekend is probably right. It's just a broken mess, and it does need to be re-examined. I'm going to stop blathering so we can go to commercials so we can bring back Tyler. Okay, we're going to see in just a minute.
Oh. What could possibly go wrong? You may choose between the jarred gravy and the blue cheese.
I wrote both down, so I'm doing both.
Leaping lizards!
Are you ready to travel through time? I know I am.
You're wearing a black shirt.
I'm wearing a black shirt.
You call that a glass of water?
That was so well done. You're welcome, the internet.
Welcome back to the Obstructed View. I'm Stuart Landon, that's Matthew Golden, and that's America's sweetheart, TJ Creedon. I wanted to talk a little bit before we bring our guest back about some fantastic things that are happening here at Open Stage. You can check out all of these events at openstagehbg.com, but we currently have a wonderful show running right now called Everyman, the Summoning of Everyman, that runs until the 21st. Please check that out. It's based on like a 15th century morality play, but like it's done through TikTok. It's hysterical and very moving. So please.
I make a cameo.
And TJ makes a cameo. I saw you. And the also, you just saw a commercial for it, but our sister show, My Talented Friends Live, is every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Chris Gibson, Gibby, and all of his zany friends and talented friends put on a fantastic show. I laughed my ass off this past Tuesday. So please check that out. Also, upcoming next month, we have a fantastic show called it's the sequel, if you will, to Poirot Investigates, which is a new mystery. It's a new show that runs the first 3 weekends of April. And some moron decided to put on his mustache again to do yet another edition, another mystery. We're in rehearsals for that now, and we're having a shit ton of fun. So I would like to welcome back to, oh my gosh, of course, I forgot, thank you. The Black News Beat HBG is every second and fourth Wednesday. Last night they had their sophomore show, and it was fantastic. Dr. Kamika Campbell puts on a fantastic show. It's a half an hour, 45 minutes. They're learning and growing and doing some fantastic things and bringing all the information that you need to know. So please check out the Black News Beat on the second and fourth Wednesdays at 8:30 p.m. We're glad to have them. Thank you very much, Bree. Anyway, we'd like to bring back our guest, the fantastic Tyler Wallach. Hey,
hello, another round.
There he was, and there he is. So, Ty, you are currently working on lots of cool projects. I love seeing all of the art that you put up on Insta, and So tell us a little bit, the vodka, my friends. Tell us a little bit about the luxury leather that you're playing with these days.
So at one point in my career, I had been donating paintings to the LGBT charity, the Trevor Project, which raises money for at-risk youth, and they keep open a suicide hotline. And one of the gentlemen who I'd been volunteering with worked at Barney's, and he's got this like old school New York gay. He's like, listen up, not so nice to meet you, doll. Like, listen up. I got a collection of Birkin bags. It's no big deal, but I think you should paint one. I think it would be great. I see it. I know. I see. And meanwhile, I'm doing enough research, and I've seen Sex in the City. I know about a Birkin bag. Okay, I can't afford one, but I know about one. So it's anywhere between like a $10,000 and $45,000 bag. It's like the cheapest one is like $7,000 in the world of luxury leather. So this old school gay, him and his husband, they take me to dinner at this little Cuban restaurant in Chelsea. Some like classic gay institution. They're just teaching my young ass all about, what it's like to have money and be gay in New York City. So I take the dinner. I go to the dinner because I know they're going to pay as well. So he brings the bag. It's really wonderful. I don't have the balls to paint it for a very long time. It's a really arduous sort of like undertaking. I finally paint it. I don't tell him what I do. I don't tell him I don't have any colors or anything. And I believe your producer has a photo of, I don't know if she can pop it up in a little bit, but it's the bag that's sitting on
the
balcony with the background. Mm-hmm. There we go.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So that particular, his bag, that's like a $12,000 camel Birkin. Yeah. So I paint that. I bring that in there. He absolutely loses it. He freaks out. He's like, oh my God, this is like, I knew that you were going to do, something really special with it. I just didn't think it was going to be like this over the top. Like, you really knocked it out of the park. So he goes and gets a head buyer of women's leather, which is like what Barney's was built on at the time. And she's like blown away as well, which, I mean, it feels really good to like show a little piece of hello. Yeah. Speaking of award shows, that was me on the red carpet. Oh, sorry. Here, hello. Who are you wearing? I'm wearing myself.
Yeah, you
Thank
are.
you. Tyler Wallach Studio.com. Thank you. Yeah, bitch. I'm wearing myself 100% of the time.
That's right.
Yes. Yes.
Everybody's in Tyler.
Yeah, we all are.
Yeah.
So she's like, listen, I want you. I know I want you in the store. I don't know how, I don't know where, and I don't know when, but I want you. And I was like, feigning interest, not wanting to be too excited, but very excited. It's like when you go on a good date and you're like, I will sleep with you in a second, but I'm gonna wait for the appetizers.
Yeah,
I'm gonna wait.
I'm not gonna tell you until after the creme brulee.
No, we're not ordering mains either. No, we're just gonna all the apps and then we'll get out of here. But she booked me. She brought me into Barney's 4 weeks in a row. And like, I built this little like template of like ideas and some of my most popular characters that I've done, and like color schemes. And like, I'm really into the aesthetic of dripping. So lately I've been like creating lots of different types of products with dripping on them. And I've been painting a lot of Louis Vuitton lately. And I did this logo sort of like with my own take on it, as it were. So yeah, I did that for 4 weeks in a row, and I would have a project that I could pick up and put down and that I was working on, and I would talk to clients. Oh, there we go. That's like this ridiculously expensive. It's called like Louis Vuitton Taurillian soft trunk. They're like they're like $5,000 each. And this was like, I know, right? This one was like quite boring. And the person who bought it, it was like a special cream color. You can sort of see the color on the outside edges there. We kept it the same, but the whole rest of it, I completely redid. This took me a month to do. Yeah, I did all of that logo work by hand, of course, and then would like clean it up and then mess it up a little bit more and then like have to clean it up again and just go back and back and back. But it's been really wonderful.
I'm sure. Like you literally are working with leather. Like that's amazing.
I know it's a whole process. You got to strip because all luxury bags come with a finish on the leather to weatherproof and waterproof. So I have to strip that off and then create a base, and then put on like a sealant after that. So it's like quite a process. There's chemicals. I wear gloves. I love it. Very in character.
Yeah,
I love it.
The theater aspect of me will never leave. It's disgusting.
Dr. Frankenfurter with the luxury leather.
I still am not even a real artist. I'm just playing one. Like it's really fucked up.
Oh my God. That's beautiful. Bree, would you go ahead? Oh my gosh, there's another. Oh yes.
Purse first.
Yes, purse first. But you have also not only painted these luxury bags, but you also have painted for some. And TJ's gonna freak out. You painted some gowns as well.
Yeah.
For go ahead.
Being a New Yorker and sort of making my way through New York City, I was lucky enough to bump shoulders with Bob Drag Queen and one of my fantastic friends, Taylor O'Rear, who introduced us. This was probably like, I don't know, 7 years ago. This is before Bob did Drag Race, and he was judging what's called, and careful, it's called a whacking competition. It's dancing. It's a dance. It's not what you were thinking. Okay. It's like this. It's a Vogue moment.
It's like voguing in the ball scene. Okay. Yeah.
It is a subsect of dance that is of voguing, but it's whacking, darling. And if you don't know about whacking, then they'll let you know. It's something.
That.
Because like you're whacking yourself. It's a lot of
yes.
It's a lot of that.
It's very popular in Europe as well, because like it ended up being that like this gorgeous little like this little Eastern European girl came and like stole the competition. It was fantastic. Anyway, Bob the Drag Queen was the host, and my friend was like, "Hey, there's this really like popular drag queen, and I know that like you try and like bump shoulders with nightlife people, so bring a shirt, give her a shirt." The bitch took the shirt, sewed it, stoned it, and turned it into a onesie superhero outfit and wore it to her show that she was doing at this bar called The Monster. I forget what she had her own sort of like pageant show going on at one of the bars in New York City for a long time, and everybody would come through, and Bob was like the host of it and whatnot. So he was like, listen, all these months later, like, hey, what if I'm hanging out with my friend Taylor and Bob comes around very casually and he's like, what if you paint my finale dress outfit? And I'm thinking, okay, I live in New York City. This is a very New York moment. Like, oh yeah, like I'm in this new show. Like, I'll get you tickets. Like, come out to the Hamptons. We love to have you at the Hamptons. Like, no, oh yes. Like one weekend, not the next weekend. We're doing something, but like a weekend, it's gonna be great. So I'm thinking it's just loose chatter, whatever. But leave it to a drag queen. 3 days before she needed the dress, she's like, hey, we had talked and you had said. So I called my boss. I know. 4 days before she flew to LA to do the finale, she's like, so just FYI, like the white dress is done. And she's like, it's done. And I'm thinking, oh my God, like it's done. I can't paint your dress if it's done because it will bleed through. And surely there's more layers. Like I have to be involved step one so that it's wet paint and it's going to just take a long time to dry and it's going to bleed. And I promise I'm going to make mistakes that like I'm going to have to fix. And like maybe we can make the mistakes together in advance once the paint dries on the fabric and we realize it's crispy crusty and it's going to be really stiff, like then maybe we need to use a different fabric. There was like no time to mess up. So I paint the dress as freaking quickly as I can. I call my boss at the time because I am a server. I've been a server for like 7 or 8 years. I'm not anymore. I've been doing art full time finally. Thank goddess, for 3 years. Yes. I waited tables for like 7 or 8 years in Manhattan. Every restaurant I ever worked at, Stuart came to. Hey, girl. And literally every restaurant. And so I'm working my way through this dress. I'm using this type of marker that like bleeds just enough, but I can manage it, and it's not making the fabric crunchy. But I did have to cut the bottom of the dress because the cape and the area that I painted the bodice of the dress and the back part, the inside part of the cape. So when she popped the cape, you saw the colors and the characters and all of this stuff, and it was like a moment. But the cape was already sewn, and there was a back and a front to it. So I had to like cut the bottom of the fabric. So I literally grabbed a pair of scissors and just cut it. I didn't use a seam ripper, whatever that is. I don't know if that's a person that you hire to come into your house and rip the seams for you or what.
Oh my gosh.
No one told me.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I ruined a piece of the dress. And I finished painting it. I ruined a piece of the dress. I dropped the dress off with the designer, and she goes, "What the hell did you do? What did you do to this?" And I said, "Well, I didn't want it to bleed through the back. I had to put cardboard in between the layers, so I had to like cut the bottom." She's like, "You literally cut it. You didn't seam rip it. Like you could have just seam ripped it." Anyway, she gets on the plane. She flies to LA. She resews a piece of the dress. And the dress is worn, the dress is on TV, and Tyler gets like 8,000 new followers on Instagram. My phone is like exploding and shaking because, yes, there we go. Because Bob the Dragon is a wonderful, wonderful human being and said my name every single opportunity that he got to that night. He told anybody who would listen that Tyler Wallach was the one who painted his dress. And that meant so much to me because I didn't know him. You know, going into this, he didn't really know me. We trusted each other in a way, and he really did pull me up through the ranks in the queer community, and I'm so forever grateful for that moment.
Can we show the Sasha gown too? The Sasha dress that you did?
The Sasha Velour, thank God, you know Sasha Velour's smart. She's a winner just like Bob. She's got a team. And this, I had so much time to do. I had a lot of time. I actually had enough time to do a version of it. And then she was like, you know what? I think that like you need to like amp it up. Like I think that you could go ahead and go in with the neon. And I was like, really? You think like the neon is gonna work with it? I don't know if it's gonna be too much. Like, I don't know. And she was like, I want you to go in and like do it. Like go in a little bit further. Don't worry about it. And like I went all the way in, and I because you know it's interesting. Like I might have gone further, but it was for someone of so much. Someone that I respected so much, and I almost wanted it to be like more curated in a way, but she was like, I'm the Brooklyn bitch, and so are you, so just do it. And I said, okay.
Awesome.
Yeah, winners only. Winners only.
Winners only!
That's amazing. Amazing. Oh my gosh. Ah, jeez Louise. Well, what a journey. Thank you so much for seriously everything that you've done for the different organizations that you have volunteered your time for. And so please, everybody, please check out Tyler on Insta and also check out his website. And Tyler, there's a pin that you just released recently and those jars. Maybe you're sold out of the jars. I don't know.
Oh, there's no more jars. You know, we went. Okay, there's the pins. Thank you. That's the better photo than I could ever do. So yeah, I actually have something on my website right now. I have these wonderful pins made.
Do it.
So
yeah.
And also,
Also, you have show us. You showed it earlier in the show, but you have the last painting. That's the dual painting as well. I want to see. There it is. There she is.
Yeah.
Folks.
So the philosophy behind this series of paintings would be that you can hang them any direction that you want. There we go. And here's one of the other ones. I actually just sold this one. This one's sold, but it's one of my weirder ones as well. But it's one of the fun things. Yeah, that I like about the idea of the paintings is that that the buyer can kind of like join in my process. I think painting live early in my career has and being someone who's likes theater and the involvement of an audience, like if you can involve the person who buys the art, I think it's wonderful. And if you could flip your painting the other way and move it to a new wall and it feels completely new, then you've doubled the value of your painting.
Fucking brilliant, Tyler. That is absolutely amazing. That, like, seriously, from the ingenuity of slapping fucking stickers on poles around town, and now you're on
like on the back of my phone,
on the back of phones everywhere. Oh my gosh, we are so thankful for you and your work and everybody. Check Tyler out. And I know we'll have you back on the show because there's lots more to talk about. And
I'm back. And I got more to tell about my Megan Sparkle too. Y'all don't even know.
All right. Okay, well, I can't wait to hear more about that. But I will say we need to get you on, and we can have you on also for Give Me Headlines, because I want to know your hot takes on these.
Okay. I got a hot take.
Like Pepe Le Pew. And the weekend.
The Looney Tunes, yeah.
Yeah, it's so important.
Seriously.
All right. Thank you so much, Tyler. And we're going to go on to our last segment, which is Oh, Happy Gay. During this segment, we'd like to talk a little bit about what made us happy this week. What gave us big gay feelings? Gig bay vibes. No, so seriously, that vodka just smashed me, apparently. Who knew?
The vanilla, it'll get you every time.
It was the vanilla. Matthew Golden, what was your Oh Happy Gay moment this week?
I got cast in a show. I'm doing a show at Gettysburg Theater. I'm going to be in Lone Star playing Ray, who's the nervous nerd brother of the main dude. And it's a comedy, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Right.
And it's a 3-person show, and we open sometime in May, TBD. But it's going to happen very quickly, and I have a lot of lines to learn, and I'm excited for it. So.
Oh my gosh! Congratulations, that's great. Are they also doing Laundry and Bourbon, or are they just doing Lone Star?
Yeah, they're doing both.
Great. Yeah, that was actually a show that Open Stage did very early on in our one of our first seasons. We did that duo of shows. So congratulations, that's awesome. TJ, what is your Oh Happy Gay moment?
Well, I do Laundry and Bourbon every Saturday. But my Oh Happy Gay moment, okay, I know I teased this last week and I still can't really talk about it, which is so annoying. But next week I will have 3, count them, 1, 2, 3 very big Oh Happy Gay moments. But my Oh Happy Gay moment is that I'm wearing shorts today.
I thought you had no pants.
No pants.
Oh.
No pants.
No pants.
I'm wearing
for
shorts. I love shorts. It's a great day every year, the first day that I can wear shorts. And I wore shorts today, and I am absolutely living with my thighs out.
Well done. Well done. My Oh Happy Gay moment is related to your shorts, but not directly. Yesterday, I took a walk out on the river with my partner and our dogs, and it was just glorious. So thank you for spring weather, and we're so glad to have, seriously, it is time. This winter has been too long. Yeah, bye winter. Bye. You've been cut. So yes, I you know what? I'm gonna wear shorts tomorrow, I hope, unless it gets real cold because March in Pennsylvania.
It's not supposed to be that warm tomorrow.
Damn it. No, it's okay. Next time I'll wear shorts. Oh well. Well, thank you so much. I would I'm gonna grab my coffee, which is what I definitely don't need right now. And
grab my chicken.
Grab your gnome. And there you go. And yes, exactly. Grab your gnome. And remember, or rather, thank you for a great show, y'all. Thank you so much, Elliot, for being a fantastic chat moderator. Thank you, Bree. Thank you so much, Tyler. And cheers, queers.
Cheers.